All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View Commentary for June 1st. My name is Kevin Hurley and I'll be with you today. Uh, I found a very interesting quote. It was actually given to me by um, by a how do I say it? By a friend of mine who's also someone that that I thought was rather important. And in my, I'm not saying this right. Let me try this over again. This quote was given to me by a friend of mine who I also get the opportunity to manage some of the money. And the quote, plain and simple, was, if I can get it posted in here, basically, the quote is, economies fail to the extent that they do not protect. And as I saw that, obviously I thought, well, that's very interesting. That's exactly what we preach, so to say, here at Hurley Investments. And his comment after was, remind you of a certain investment strategy. Yup, me too. It couldn't have been said any better. I feel that some people fail to the extent that they don't prepare themselves, that they don't protect themselves, that they haven't learned what's needed to get to where they want to get to. And part of it is a lot of hard work. In fact, I want to go over that lot of hard work comment tonight. I found a very interesting article. It's entitled Apple Downside Risk. It was posted May 28th. It's a Seeking Alpha article. And as I read through it, it logically made a whole lot of sense. Apple faces iPhone headwinds heading into the forward 2022 after demand was pulled forward this fiscal year. $90 price target on the stock with a rare sell rating is not to be so rare. The stock still trades an expensive 23.5 times forward earnings, despite growth falling to just 3%. I read through this and I thought, oh my gosh, I think someone has found something. And as I went through this article, iPhone demand snag, he's got some good pictures in here for global demand. He has Apple is the gray. He's got some pictures here on where the iPhone purchases are coming from. Lack of sell rating, so someone's got to say you're going to sell Apple. I mean, the article was pretty well written that Stone Fox Capital is saying, hey, now that they're 2 out of like 46 sell ratings on Apple, Apple's toast. Apple's done. And it really came down to two things that caught my eyes. Number one, someone is long Apple. Yet they're saying the growth is over and they're calling for a $90 price target. So let me ask the group, what are they doing? What is this guy doing right now? Someone that is long Apple, that holds the position, that is managing money or is licensed to manage money. What is this joker doing right now? Good comment, William. Looks like he's lowering his price. Obviously, but I'm looking for more than that. What do you think this Joker's trying to do? Setting up his put so he can make more money, buying more cheaper, trying to manipulate the price. All of those are excellent. In fact, if anything, through the summer doldrums, I feel this guy is 100% trying to manipulate the price and trying to pick up more shares of Apple. It seems blatant to me. It seems obviously blatant to me that that is exactly what this Joker's trying to do. Now, I said there are two things. It's interesting how many people, I like that comment, Bill. It's interesting how many people blindly follow the figures. I mean, if you read through this on Seeking Alpha, it looks impressive. I'll give them that. It's an impressive article. It's filled with logic. It's filled with pretty facts and figures. It's, I'm sure it's a piece that's going to get all kinds of traffic from people that say, oh my gosh, Apple's falling. It's time to sell out. But you've got to do your own research. Is the super cycle over? As I look at this particular chart on unit sales in the millions, right? Came up, plateaued. Great Christmas quarter. Great Christmas quarter. Great Christmas quarter. Great Christmas quarter without being able to go into stores. Will someone please tell me, where do you see a super cycle? And in case you didn't know, a super cycle is where people have been holding on to phones for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, where we're going to have a doubling of the purchase of iPhones. Can someone please tell me, where in that chart do you see a super cycle sales of the iPhone? Those are the facts and figures I've come up with. Those are what I relate to their earnings. Can someone show me the super cycle sales that is over on the iPhone? Kevin, there's not one there. Next year, maybe the super cycle hasn't come yet. All great comments. Maybe there's not going to be a super cycle. But I can tell you, if you're going to make the comment that the super cycle's over, you might want to check your facts and figures to see if there was a super cycle in the first place. I don't see it. And that brings me to a couple points. A couple points that I want to basically make here that I think go back to economies fail, people fail, because they fail to protect themselves, right? Let me just put it, people in general fail because they fail to protect themselves. I'm going to make it simple. Protection takes hard work. Any kind of protection. We're talking about stock market protection. We're talking about buying a house, buying a car, keeping your credit rating in line. It takes hard work. If it is something that is important, it does not come easy. Protection in the stock market is not a hobby to do. It was interesting as I was going through education, it was amazing to me how many people admitted that their trading in the stock market was a hobby. So your retirement is a hobby. I don't understand. I'm going to make this comment. Verify the education to teach you protection is legit. Easiest way to do that, show me an account. Show me a real account. You want to know if someone's doing it for real? Have them prove it to you. I hate the educators that profess some unique style, some secret, and they don't do it in real life. It bothers me. They open up a real account, they show it. I'm impressed. It's okay to make mistakes. You can't get them all right. But if the first mistake is not being legit, if the first mistake is lying about what you're doing, you're in trouble. You're not going to make it. Level of integrity is not there. Shame on those people that follow that person. Again, in general, people fail because they fail to protect themselves. They choose to let someone else do it for them. And that's not a bad thing, but you better know who's doing it for you instead of just going off on a whim. It's interesting. I'm going to thank a lot of you up front for your support and well wishes for my boy. He's not getting it at home very much. In fact, the really scary, over this weekend, his comment was, man, I can't wait till I get this cast off so I can get back to doing dumb things on the trampoline. I kind of giggled with some of you. Man, I'll be honest with you. It hasn't crossed my mind to take a pocket knife, since the arm's already broken, just to cut on through it and just leave him without an arm. I'm not so interested in having him break it again. I'm not so interested from not having my son learn from a stupid mistake. And he's really getting no sympathy from home when he's trying to blame it on other people or other things. Jared, you were showing off and you blew it jumping off the trampoline. Jared, you lost your balance. But the rules in the family is that you don't be in the position you were in the first place, which you didn't follow. Jared, I know you're uncomfortable. I know it probably hurts. I know it's a pain in the butt to carry the big cast around. But those are all consequences of your decision. And you're the one that gets to live with it. That is real life. So I'm going to make the suggestion. Don't do dumb stuff. I'm going to make the suggestion. Before you get into something that might be dumb, do your research. But Kevin, we might not make a sale, or there's a sale price, it's going to go. You know what? If they're legit, they're going to give you a little extra time to do the research. A lot of people ask me, why didn't we get into AMC? I mean, it's gone from 12 to 30 in a month and a half, right? Why didn't we get into Tesla? Why weren't we on the what is it that shot up? The GameStop. It's simple. You didn't pay me to gamble with your money. I'm an investor that spends hundreds of hours a year doing my research, crunching my numbers, making sure I'm in undervalued positions that have the opportunity to double in the next 2 years. That's what we invest in. I still see a doubling in Apple in the next 2 years. The numbers work out that way. I don't have to listen to the kook that's writing Apple downside risk. Yes, it's a well-written article, but it's not well written with the truth. And the biggest truth, I am / we are long Apple. If that was true, he should have said in here, I'm looking to exit the position until it becomes cheaper. I know a lot of you came from education. Don't get taught the wrong things. That's the simple point. As I went to go charge the pulse, guess what I found out? These guys are on vacation. The pulse to go through what was happening, Happy Memorial Day from White Charts. So there is no pulse market recap for last week. I kind of found that interesting that they wouldn't be there. How are markets end this week? June historically is a flat to slightly down month. It is an up month if we're positive going into June. Right now, I'm going to say June is going to be flat, which means in some way, shape, or form, we might be lower this week. I'm saying lower this week because we're awfully close to those highs. We have a doji today almost that looks like we're going to head down farther. We're a little overbought on the Williams percent R. I truly don't have a feeling or an understanding of where we're going to go to. So I feel, based on a little technical analysis, we're probably heading a little lower or going to have a flat week. If you look in the S&P, it is mirroring the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Our highs of 42.38, we're at 42.02, 36 points higher, less than 1%. Our market seems and feels stalled out. We're on the upside of our range. If you take a look and just draw, and they're not going to be really good, but just draw some trend lines, we're at the top of it. Probably going to come down and test the pivot point and be relatively flat. I know those are awful trend lines. Thank you, William, for letting me know. But I don't see a catalyst working for our favor unless it's that stimulus package. NASDAQ really tightening up, but there's room to the upside and the downside. If anything, the leader through summer most likely will be technology. And it's going to be the catch-up trade. It's going to play catch-up. It has 500 points to the upside just to catch up to where it was for a triple top in February and April. If you ask me where we're going to end June, I'm changing my number. I'm going down to 1%. I'm going to go off of historics that, hey, you usually have a slightly positive June. I do not think we're going to have 4 weeks to get an infrastructure package taken care of. I think you'll see Congress go on their vacation before you'll see a return for an infrastructure package. So I'm changing my tune on June. Earnings, Zoom has earnings today. They did pretty well after hours. Sportsman's Warehouse tomorrow, NTAP, PVH, DocuSign 5, Lululemon, Broadcom. A pretty weak earnings week. Actually, we'll probably be flat this week until Friday. Day off on Monday. ISM Manufacturing today, which wasn't bad. Came in at 61.2, but was not the 62.5 expected. Construction spending came in lower, 0.2 instead of 0.5. But most likely, ADP productivity and unit labor costs on Thursday, Friday, the average work week. That's what might give our markets a little bounce higher. So expect a flat day tomorrow, kind of like today, maybe a flat day on Wednesday. Look for some economic news to push our markets higher. I am going to admit, I do like on a relatively flat day, How flat was it? Down 0.05. We were doing pretty good. We were up $143,000. A pretty good update today in regards to a flat day in the market. Baidu, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Boeing, Ford, Facebook. Some movers were some catch-up trades today. Sorry, that's year to date. Let's go to today. Baidu, Boeing, Under Armour, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Disney, Ford. Baidu's way behind. Boeing's behind. Under Armour's behind. Bank of America is actually doing very well this year. So is JP Morgan. Disney's to the downside. Ford finally is catching up. It was a catch-up trade today. Pretty neat to have like a 0.65 on a negative 0.05 S&P day. Boy, I could really see us running that way all week long. A flat to slightly down to slightly up. We're going to play the catch-up trade this week as things catch up. All right, let's see here. Another article on Biden's tax proposal spur anxiety. Of course, over the weekend, our president just can't get his head around the fact that there's never been a retroactive capital gains tax. There's talk today of after April 28th, anything that was sold after that or all last month will be subject to the increased capital gains of 43.4% if it's over $1 million of gains. What a joke. There have been retroactive taxes like federal income taxes in the past, but we have never had a retroactive capital gains. The thought process is twofold. If it's already in place and retroactive, we won't have a wave of selling at the end of the year because people will hold on to their stuff for at least another couple years until we get a tax change in the law. The other thought process is it's going to spur on the market correction that the market so badly needs. The good news is, thank goodness we don't have to sell off our stocks. Thank goodness we can just put on a long put to act as stock ownership protection, make some capital gains on the way down, and convert that into new shares of stock for the bounce up. We basically have in place a 2.5-year plan if the market literally doesn't sell off because people are worried that they now need to hold on to things for a change in the regime to change the taxes once again. How pathetic is this going to be that every time we get a new party in office, we have a change of taxes? I really wish we would just work on balancing the budget, that we'd make paying off our debt a priority versus the pork that's involved with these tax bills or with these stimulus bills. Where's the accountability in balancing the budget? All right, what else do I have for you? That Apple article is here. I found an interesting article on Baidu, and please read through it because a lot of these numbers coincide with the research I do. I'm still a believer in Baidu. We're still okay. They meant the comment that the fundamentals remain intact. I agree 100%. It has huge upside potential still. I had to throw this in here, a little bit about Beyonce and the problem with cryptocurrency. Please feel free to read through it, but it really comes down to money laundering and tax evasion. A reason why I do not like cryptocurrency. And last but not least, this came across my local news here. 10 people skills every person needs. And I just felt it was something that would help all of us if we just took the time to consider some of these skills. Ability to put yourself in others' shoes, ability to accept others who are different than you, ability to stay open, flexible, and change your mind or plans. Better not be with your trading though, right? Ability to know your worth in any situation. The ability to regulate your own inner state from unsafe to safe. The ability to understand what's happening when others are upset. The ability to have a difficult conversation the right way. The ability to listen and validate another person. The ability to enforce your own and honor others' boundaries. The ability to make hard decisions from a place of love, not fear. I think each one of these is important when it comes to the business of managing people's money. If I didn't know my own worth and the understanding of the process of collar trading, I could not have created the business that we have. The ability to understand what's really happening when others are upset. To understand the baggage that people have dealt with in the stock market. The ability to have a difficult conversation the right way. You know, when I had Lance go, I cut my salary by over $2,800 a month. But there's a time and a place for everything. With that said, what questions do you guys have for us tonight? What questions can I answer for you guys tonight? That's pretty broad, right? William just asked, so what's the plan coming up? And the short answer is the plan for coming up, if we're looking at a sideways market, William, we're probably going to add some short calls, some shorter 4-week short calls to generate some revenue while we're waiting for the market to figure out what direction it wants to go. It'll give us a little downside protection if it heads down. If it's sideways, it'll give us some revenue. If it goes up, we're going to have to roll them out and up. But I'd rather get paid to have the market figure out what's happening for the next month than spend money on protection. That doesn't mean that if we don't see a big drop, I won't add protection first thing tomorrow. So great question. Bill, thank you. I like the comment. Maud, are you concerned with the increasing amount of inflation? I'm not yet. And what I mean by that is the inflation right now is truly transitory, meaning the inflation for the most part is related to materials because of supply and demand, energy and gas because we're not smart with our pipelines, everything from shutting them down to terrorist attacks. Our government's not smart when it comes to energy independence, or at least pumping more at least by pumping more barrels of oil than your country uses. We have a shortage of lumber right now. We're going to have a shortage of a bunch of things going into this, the end of this summer. Let's face it, our unskilled labor market is choosing to sit at home and get paid just as much as they were making while they were working. There are a lot of people, until that September extra $300 a month Fed completely expires and the states bleed off their extra, it is more beneficial to do nothing and get paid more than working to get paid less. So it's until our workforce comes back in full force, and until the incentives are to get back onto the job and make more money, we're probably going to go through inflation till you see that bleed off, which we're going to be behind the 8 ball, which truly means we could have a really good end of the year like we did last year, where we see a lot of things really start to take off to see the economy fully engaged yet again, to see production fully engaged for Christmas time, which means we'll have half of September, October, November to get it that way. Another question is, when do you plan to continue to keep markets? When does plan continue to keep markets unstable? So when does inflation really rear its head, right? You will see that the biggest catch there will be when you see prices quadruple from where we are right now, when you see the interest rates for homes start to spike, when you see the euro and the yuan gaining on the dollar even more than it already has, when you see or hear the talk of an interest rate hike, even though the plan is for no interest rate hikes this year and most likely into next year. When the Fed can't control the inflation, then we know we truly are going to have a problem. Biden fell sometime back. Have they come back? They have not come back. Have you been able to take advantage of it? Yes, on the way down we did, but Baidu's a long way from coming back. It's nowhere close to coming back right now. So we made some great money on the puts on the way down, and we still do have a couple positions in play. But right now, I would not be looking to be adding positions to Baidu at this time. Good question, Lee. Thank you. Are there any other questions you guys have? If you don't, thank you everyone for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Point tonight, don't hesitate to do your own research. Most of you have more than enough smarts to take a look and to be able to do basic research to find out if what you're reading is true. I do believe there's a lot of fake news that's out there. Now, I'm relating this to the stock market. What you see are people making their best educated guesses. You see a lot of bandwagon hopping on, so to speak, or bandwagon hopping, so to speak, where whatever they hear most recently, people jump onto that. Oh, that's got to be it. Do your research. It doesn't take a lot of time. It wasn't hard for me to read the article and then stop a second and go, wait a second. What super cycle is stopping? What super cycle has already happened? I didn't see it. Kevin, did you miss a super cycle on Apple phones? I don't think so. Don't hesitate to be a bit of a naysayer. Don't hesitate to say, you know what? Let me do some research on it. I'm still shocked by how many people read something on CNBC or Bloomberg or I just couldn't remember what my article came from. Or Seeking Alpha, some newsletter, and take it as real. Trust but verify. I think I've got to give that one to Ronald Reagan, right? Trust but verify. All it will do is help you better understand what you're reading, who you can trust, and better understand where your money's at. No other questions have come in. Guys, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I will get this posted most likely first thing tomorrow morning. Guys, welcome to our shortened week. Hopefully you enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend. I appreciate you guys being here, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday on our commentary. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.